Downer.
And here we are, Epic Lunch and Learn. Another one.
What's up, buddy?
What's going on? How are you?
I'm all right. You and Jess had a good show on Wednesday. Talked about a bunch of different things, huh?
Yeah. Definitely got to get your opinion on it today. So want to do that. Obviously, we're talking about some buyers today, some interesting conversations. But let's start off just being happy about a Bear victory.
Yeah. But again, I'm gonna let as Jess would say, not to be the Debbie Downer. I'm gonna turn around and say, yes, we're 7-3, but we haven't beat a team above 500 all season.
This is true. And that's what makes this game this weekend so fascinating because, more than likely with a broken bone in your left hand, Aaron Rodgers will not be coming to town this weekend as everyone was ready to go. And Mason Rudolph, if we beat the Steelers, is that going to get any validation or is it still no?
No, but 8-3 means playoffs.
You would hope, but I mean, that schedule is nasty. That schedule is so nasty. So
yeah, but it helped that the Eagles beat the Lions yesterday.
It did. I mean, I was looking at the projections right now. We would be the 3rd seed playing Green Bay, the 6th seed at home in the first round of the playoffs.
Now hold on. We agree. We agree on football 100%. But you're sounding like a Cub fan at the All-Star break. Okay? We're not there yet. All right?
I was just looking at the projections. I just wanted to get a feel for the projections of where the Bears could be in the playoffs. If the playoffs were to start today, we'd have a home game against Green Bay. So
before we lose our audience, how many guests do we have here at 12:02 in today's call?
We have 23 people listening to us. Appreciate you listening, whether you're on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook. And, put in the chat. Let us know where you're listening to us. We'd always appreciate that. We're always trying to get some feedback for you. And, we do have a topic today, besides the Bears. But here, let me tell you my Bear story, which was funny, was my kids are in violin. And so they had a violin concert. And, I get totally upset at the whole structure because, there is a level of just being in the Chicagoland area. There should be a respect thing. Everybody knows it's a Bear Sunday. Whether you don't like them, there's millions of people that do like the Chicago Bears. They are one of the oldest franchises and one of the most, expensive franchises. And so for you to schedule a concert at 2:00 where they're doing so well, it's like so blind. Like, are you blind? Do you not know, anything that's going on?
So all the dads were getting yelled at because they're watching the Bears game on their phone instead of listening to their kids playing violin, and the 100%. Wives are yelling at the husbands.
Yeah, so we take 2 cars. I get there, beat the wife there. Wife comes in. We're in this church, real nice church, and she's like, "Well, why are you sitting in the back?" And I was like, "Well, I can see them from here. I don't want to be all close to everybody. I just want to have space." She's like, "Well, I'm going to sit up closer to the stage so I can take pictures." Yeah, you go do that. I'm going to stay in the back because I got my phone on and I want to see the game. And it got good at the end, right? It got the whole 16-3. I was like, "Oh man, where is she? Let me see if I can scoot up.
Let me go down there."
Yeah. Right? Then it's like, "Oh man, 16."
Let me go check in with the wife at halftime when the game, was not as important.
Exactly. And then you see as it's dwindling down, 16-10. Oh, 4th and 3. Oh no, they got the first down. Oh man, 17-16. Oh my God. I'm going crazy in the back, squirming, like, oh my God, staring at this phone while the kids are doing their thing. So appreciate the kids. They did a good job. Everyone sounded great. And so now here we are.
Yeah, I have a theory to that one. The teachers that put these programs on Granted, it's a weekend. They're taking their extra time to do it. They're not Bears fans. They don't watch sports, buddy. That's the difference. They play music.
I know, but man, you got to know your surroundings, right? I mean, now let's take it to loan officers. Hey, all I do is purchases or all I do is refinance. You got to be well-rounded. You have to know what's going on in the world. And it was funny. Last week, I got interviewed on someone's podcast, and I was talking about how, like, when I first got going in this business, all I did was I was so competitive. It was boiler room style. They had this wall and they would put your name on the wall based on your rankings of how many deals you closed.
But that's how it was.
It was 100% how it was.
Right? I mean, I worked for a place that we had to do that. Like, we went in the office, had individual private offices, and then also had a bullpen where we had to spend 2 hours just dialing for dollars a day.
Correct. Right? Power hour.
And that's all we did, 5 to 7. Oh, you're in your car? Well, that doesn't really work. Like, when can we have an actual conversation, right? There was no Zoom. There was no nothing. It was, when can we have an actual conversation? And, we purchased Lending Tree, Lower My Bills, where people just click the button and then they get a phone call, right?
Exactly.
It's not it's still the same. It's just we're on the internet.
100%. But the difference was at the time frame, and this is what I told the guy was, I just didn't want my name to be at the bottom of that list. When you come into the office, I didn't want Dante at the bottom. I wanted to be at the top. So I was going to do, to some degree, whatever it takes to make it happen. I was going to dial 200 names or whatever I had to do to get to but I didn't really understand holistically what was going on around me.
Right.
I didn't really, I didn't understand the concepts of BRRRR and purchasing and leverage and cash out refinances and the tax deductible and real all these things. Why don't you just put it on a personal? No, if you have credit, maybe put it on business credit. Don't put it on personal credit because it doesn't show up on your. I didn't know some of these concepts because all I was focused on, I don't want my name to be last, and I was just hey, Mr. Johnson, we got a deal? Great. All right, put it on the board. It's another unit. So I'm not last. And so back to the instructor, know your audience. Know that people do care about the Chicago Bears, especially now, 7-3 on Sundays. Let's not schedule concerts at 2:00. You want to schedule at 4? I'm there.
Yeah. And
right
since you said 7-3, right at the 7-minute and 30-second mark, let's get going on the show.
How I didn't even plan that. I said we're diving into the great housing hallucination of our era, a time when buyers walk into a $350,000 listing expecting a $900,000 lifestyle, a time when a staged sofa and a well-placed fake painting can hypnotize a grown adult into believing they've found their forever home. A time when people chase quartz countertops with more passion than they chase financial stability. And the wild part, it's not their fault. The entire system is selling the illusion of perfection. Instagram feeds, HGTV timelines, TikTok renovations, overnight transformations that make the average buyer think they're one offer away from stepping into a magazine cover. But the truth is, we're not buying a vibe. You're not buying a lifestyle. You're buying a roof, a rate, a responsibility, a long-term strategy that that can bring about wealth. So today I wanted to talk to you, Vince, on those concepts about what our expectations of a buyer should have. I think we had a lot of great conversations over the last couple of weeks about things. And, we had the stager on and Monique Hendricks. And that was a great conversation just because it opened my eyes to so much what should we be paying attention to as a buyer? Like if you're going to buy a house today, what are things that you're going to focus on?
It's funny you bring that up. We got a contract that's coming in this week. It's a property in Arlington Heights, right? The girl's moving from the Norwood Park area to Arlington Heights. She looks at a house that's listed in the low 500s, which is kind of an entry-level home to the Arlington Heights area. It's remodeled, but it's remodeled when I look at the photos of well, that's wrong. that should be better, right? And I'm looking at it because we see so many different houses, right?
Sure.
And we see pictures over and over and over. And there's nothing wrong with the remodeling that they did. But it's 3 different floorings in one small little area, right? It's a different floor in the kitchen versus the flooring in the living room. And you had the door to the basement open so you could see that that was a different floor. So to me, right, cosmetically, I'm looking at like, what are we doing here, right? And she didn't even notice it, right, as a buyer, right? All she was like, the areas where I want to live.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that comes into play, right? I mean, that's essentially what it is. And I'm looking at it like, well, can we pull the flooring from the bedroom to make the flooring match and then put carpet in the bed? She's like, oh, I never thought of it that way. I'm like, well, we look at houses every day long, right? And
Exactly.
I'm not an interior designer by any means. Don't get me wrong. I'm wearing a black sweater today and we're on the TV, right? There's no picture of Epic behind me as my boss hasn't got me my photo, right? So I'm not your interior designer. I just look at those things that aesthetically she's not looking at because she just wants the house.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. No, and that's really what I wanted to have that conversation on, and it's perfect timing for you. I mean, because it's I even think of my house, it's like, I didn't think of like just space, storage. We don't really have a lot of storage, we don't have a full finished basement. It wasn't a priority at the timeline. It was like, you look at, oh man, we got 5 bedrooms. Okay. So that means we can put kids in them. Now we got 2 baths. Okay, great. So that should be enough space, but I didn't look at storage situations, so
Sure.
some people don't pay attention to the things that will, 5, 10, 20 years down the road matter. It's like, where do I put all the stuff?
Mm-hmm. And it's like, and then granted, we're not going to talk specific to the house, but like, well, the basement's finished. Well, yes, it's finished, but the new concept, well, let's just spray the top of the ceiling black, right? We won't, and I get it. It makes complete sense financially because if the pipes are covered and you get a water leak and you got to break open the drywall and all that. So here in Chicago, okay, I can deal with that, right? But it's like, hey, it's not really finished. It's painted, but again, it's the marketplace that we're in today. The inventory is light. The houses that may need a little more cosmetic work are getting a higher dollar amount potentially because of that inventory issue. And also the area that's purchasing a home in Arlington Heights, there isn't much inventory. So it's kind of, there's some other factors there. But yeah, design makes a difference. Right? I mean, it's your first perception of the home.
Right? No doubt. It's also too like what buyers think they want versus what they can afford are 2 different things.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so, to your point, hey, I'm in Arlington Heights. Oh my God, this is my house because I have an opportunity and I'm going to get my offer accepted. You're just going to deal with it. I mean, there's a level of like, it's about the location, that's what she sold on the most.
Well, and it's not only that, right? We started at a 400 price range and she ended up at 5.
Yeah.
Right. Never thinking she'd go to 5. Right.
Right.
But she saw that what she had and what's there. And, she's looking at Vince, how can I afford this? I said, listen, that's your choice. I can't give you knowledge or feedback on that because you're the one that has to make the payment. Right. But statistically, the math from the lenders say you can't afford it.
Correct.
Right. And that's your choice from there. I'm not going to give you any leeway one way or the other. There's a personal situation going on that I know more to it. That's not what the audience is for. But that's where us as loan officers kind of need to step back on that, right? Because, hey, if FHA says we can allow debt ratios up to 50% on the back end number, meaning all of your expenses that are listed on the credit, as long as your housing number is 40%, the math shows that people don't have a problem when they stay within that range as long as you're disciplined in your spending. It's tight, but you have to be disciplined, right?
Correct.
And that's where I was going with her in that conversation, just so I didn't necessarily talk her out of the home because it is an expense, right? And it changed the numbers. And she looked at it like, whoa, well, what if I put more down? I'm like, that really doesn't change much in the end of the day. It doesn't change anything. You still got the mortgage insurance. There's other ways to do this, So at the end of the day, we talked about a lower down payment, keeping cash in the bank, because she has a 6-year target, right? She's got 2 kids. They got 6 years until they're done with high school. This is the high school she's in. And basically what comes down here is if you need the money, it's there.
𝐒𝐍, right? 𝐒𝐍 High School.
Yeah, correct. So she's in the 𝐒𝐍 High School district.
Hmm.
So, it was a big point of the house.
Right.
Absolutely. Right. And I said, well, you can go drop your $60,000 down in your down payment and save $250 a month, because you're still going to have mortgage insurance because it's not 20%.
Correct.
Or you could just keep the $60,000 in the bank, pay a little higher payment per month, and if you need it, you got the money to go get it. I'm not saying that that's the solution for everybody, but in her solution, the payment was, I got to get through the next 6 years because I want my kids in this high school and I need my own house.
Yeah, for every $10,000, the payment moves about $60. So it's not really a big swing to like, hey, should I, because should I put more money to it, like towards a fire? Maybe I can throw some more water at it. It's like, yeah,
Right.
you saved yourself $60. Is that really going to change things on where they are? I mean, things are just expensive, and you have to readjust. It's funny that you bring that up, because the credit report, I always say, credit report is black and white, but I don't know the gray. I mean, so what is the credit report is going to tell me about student loans that you have, credit cards that you have, and, a mortgage or any type of, secured debt. But I don't know about the gym membership. I don't know if you go to Lifetime or if you go to, 24/7
Planet Fitness, right?
Planet Fitness.
So you spending $10 a month, or you spending $250? I know you're not using either one, but which one are you going? Right?
Right. That makes a difference. I don't know about, what church and tithes, and are you giving back to the church? I don't know about what organizations that you're affiliated with. If you're a Sigma Chi, or, all that fraternity, sorority stuff that you're giving up money. So
how much money is being spent on the kids during their activities and everything else, right? We don't see that. We know it needs to be. We know it needs to be there, but we don't see it, right?
Right. So I always, go with, say, hey, what do you feel comfortable with? And what do you feel, that you can afford? It was funny because I had that similar conversation. I had two twins that live together. They're almost inseparable, and they're renting right now, and they're paying about $1,200 a month for rent, and they're splitting it $600 a piece. So, obviously now he was thinking about him and Han. He's always been thinking about it. Both of them make decent money, so there's no issues there. And they're like, hey, I said, what do you want your mortgage payment to be? And he's like, well, I'm paying like 600. He's paying 6. So yeah, I'd be willing to maybe go up to like 1,500. I'd go up $150. And I'm like, guy,
that's still a rent payment. I'm sorry,
yes.
Don't want to cut you off, but that's still a rent payment in today's market, right? You're
100%.
not there yet. You're not there yet, right?
No. And so, it was just one of those things where it's like, hey, that's not bad necessarily. I'm not going to say that's bad, because I don't want people, there's no bad or good. It's like what works for you, So if renting is your thing, and it's like insurance, right? If you're going to buy term and invest the difference, I mean, you're still going to get there. But if you want to own, then, you're going to have to level up, and pay more, because that's what the market bears right now.
Yeah. Then you're paying that perm instead of that term.
Listen to you.
Yeah.
Rhymer. Perm instead of the term. It's interesting. Just, buyers, they seemed, it seems like they're confused on like value. Value is such a subjective word. Is it the value in the home? Is it the value in the location? What value are they searching? And sometimes they fall for these, all these brand new, I did this, I did that stuff. But it's like, I don't know how much value should we be putting into just cosmetic look.
I mean, it's not there today, right? It's irrelevant because everyone expects expect the house to have the new look.
Correct.
Whether it's done professionally or not, they expect it to have the new look.
Correct. But then they don't want to pay for that because
obviously you're in Brookfield. I mean, I grew up in River Grove, which is a couple towns north of you, right?
Yep.
We got houses built in the 60s and the 50s as the main housing population, right? Now that, yes, people do tear downs and they rebuild, but in the grand scheme of things, and no matter what you do with that, it's still a small, narrow bathroom, right? It doesn't have the things. And when you get into the remodeling of it, then it turns into a huge project. And then it's, well, I just rather go buy the newer house. Right?
Sure.
It's just, I'd rather go do that, right? But that doesn't exist in every area.
No, and I think you have to be willing to relocate. I think relocation is something that you have to be critical on. We had a couple episodes ago. We talked about some facts about just buying and renting and selling and all these items, and we talked about the emotion that goes into it. Just the thought pattern of like, if I said, "Hey, mom," it probably makes more financial response, or makes sense, more financial to do is to sell and find a cheaper place. And it's like she couldn't think like that like, what are you saying? I'm speaking German to her. What I mean?
Dante, what are you talking gibberish for? I'm not
Right.
selling my house yet, right? It's
Exactly.
not happening.
Exactly. We get so emotionally tied to things, and I don't know if it's always the best solution for so many people. I was talking to a guy actually yesterday. His house is worth 800,000. He's lives out in Naperville, and he probably owes roughly about $200,000 on his house. And I was like, dude, you should easily just sell this house, take the 600, and pay cash for something $400,000 to $500,000. He's got one more kid that's in high school, and it's just him and his wife. Like, what are you doing?
Right. You're pretty close to being an empty nester.
Correct.
Right. I mean, and not really, but I mean, kids are going to go to college or whatever, right? And at the end of the day, that's the start of being an empty nester, right?
Correct.
When kids go to college. So then you're having that money work for you, and being mortgage free would be a great feat at whatever age that is. I mean, you're not 60 years old yet, more than likely not. Maybe you're getting close to that number. But yeah, you're mortgage free now, right?
Correct.
With a house that has $500,000 worth of equity, and then you can build your other buckets.
Correct.
With that money, right? And it's all about planning. It's all about timing.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate though that for the people coming into the housing market today, they're paying the prices that we have to pay for.
Correct.
And when we had that conversation and when putting this offer together, she's like, I got to buy this house, but everyone's trying to tell me not to, because they still have an existing home in the city, right? That they could just stay in. And I'm like, well, that's the price of business today, right? Do you want your kids in this school? What do you want to do? This is what you either make a decision to move forward, or you sit there and wait, right? And we've said this before, prices aren't coming down. The cost of eggs isn't going to go down to what it was 10 years ago. The same thing's with house. It is what it is.
Yeah, and actually I'm going to be in that marketplace myself. I was having the realization, my son's in 6th grade. And, and so you start, once they hit that 5th and then 6th, is that, now I got a 3-year window where it's like, what high school is it going to go to?
Yeah. I mean, for her daughter's going into high school next year, and her son's in 6th, right? So she's like, okay, well, we got to make the move.
We got to make the move. Yeah. And so, that's the reality. And so now it's about me positioning myself, even because I'm like, okay, I don't want him to go to the school district that he's in. So now it's either do I pay for private or do I go public? Well, we got to move to hit the public, and then, and just trying to do the best thing for him. But yeah, definitely all parents are probably starting to do that look-see and seeing what's going to make the most sense. And these are real conversations that people are having. But I think that 6th grade is right at that perfect time. Your client, myself, obviously millions others that are out there, like, okay, now it's starting to become real. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
So it is an interesting thing. I was also going to get your take today. I mean, obviously I spoke to Jess. We were talking about portable mortgage, 50-year mortgage. What's your take on all this?
All right. I'll keep it short. We'll hit on some of the numbers, right? 50-year mortgage, not a good option. I don't care if you want to talk about affordability, whatever, right? Here, I'm going to give a macro picture as to why I don't like it. The housing market is based on a 30-year mortgage. It has been, and it should always be. You open up a 50-year mortgage, you're increasing the demand. We don't have a demand problem in this country. We have a supply problem in this country. And what I mean by that is you're just going to create that many more buyers because now they're saving $250 a month on their payment and they can qualify, which is going to still create a bigger imbalance. It's never going to happen on the 50-year term. There wasn't enough support for it. But that's my biggest thing. You can't change and do a shift adding that in a marketplace where it's not that we don't have the demand. We have demand. Affordability is a problem, but that is a bigger problem than just a 50-year. So I'm going to stop at the 50 on that. The other reasons are the rates would be higher. You're paying interest longer. You're not building equity. There's a bunch of different other reasons to get into, but let's just leave it at that on the 50.
So I did some research this morning, just seeing, and they said it was around 74% of homeowners have an interest rate less than 5. 74%. So the marketplace as it currently stands is about 26% of, 26% could use a potential refinance, right? They would be in the marketplace for refinance. And that is, to some degree, two out of 7. So what is that? That would be roughly about, let's just say 30% of, a loan officer's business would be through refinances, right? If we were doing a perfect world, it's a 70-30 split. 70% of our business should be purchases, and then obviously 30% should be refinances. And we've taken away the refinance capability. And for some loan officers out there, right? I can name a few, but I won't. That's all they did.
Right.
There was enough business to go around just focusing on refinances. You didn't have to talk to a realtor. You didn't have to worry about people buying homes. You just focused on the refinance portion of it. So you have killed some livelihoods out there by taking away that recipe of just doing refinances. And so I feel like the market or the government is trying to figure out ways to create new buyers, just to have more. I mean, it's almost like we're, it's just glutton. Like we're so fat, we're so high on the hog on just having so much money coming in from a real estate perspective that, like, even though it's slimmer now, we still are fine. Like people are still making a living doing it, but it's not enough. They want more buyers.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you used to say. I mean, we've obviously disclosed to the show that we've been friends for quite a while, right? And every year, let's just say from 2017 to 2021, every year right around this time, we'll be like, what do we think is going to happen next year with rates, right? Are we eventually going to get enough of a spike in interest rates where it's going to slow us down? And that went on for 10 years, right? And it created the problem we have today, right? Which I'm going to transition to. It created the problem of a portable mortgage and how a portable mortgage can actually free up the marketplace. Now, I'm a big fan of the portable mortgage because I've been saying that for the last 2 years. We haven't really talked about it on the show. It's popular in Canada when I read the articles about it. Okay. It's going to limit our business as mortgage loan officers because it's only going to be done on the service level, meaning your banks. Okay. So it's not really good for us from a business standpoint and from an employment standpoint. Okay.
Got it.
But it has to be done in a time frame. We cannot add this product of a portable mortgage to our economy and just let it be, you can port it over at any point in time. Don't worry about it. It has to be a one-time use, should be done within a given amount of years. And the reason for that is we have such an increase in value that you're still going to need a second mortgage because you're not getting any money out of your house. So when you think about it, the interest rates that you're trying to save are the rates that were originated from 2021 and going backwards, not going forward, right?
Right.
Where loan amounts capped out on a Fannie or Freddie loan at $420,000 was the previous conventional loan limit. Where today that limit is now $800,000, right? So that spread's not there to cover what the housing market is today. Some people might not like this. It's not allowed for investment properties. It needs to be a primary residence. And again, it needs to be done in a window. It would free up and it creates activity. And we need activity in order to maintain our marketplace.
No, I like it. I mean, I actually, if you're going to give me a choice of portable or 50, I would take the portable all day long. I didn't do the deep dive that you have done, obviously. And so I was like, I don't think I can, I don't know how they would allow me to help someone. I just thought there would be just a massive, but it's funny because with Rocket Mortgage, basically buying up all these servicing, I
Right.
mean, it's just going to be Rocket, basically like, all right, yeah, we'll just move you from here to
Correct.
here.
We'll
Move you
do
here
it.
to
No
here.
worries. Right.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and do it. No big deal. And then the issue with that is, right, the government owns Fannie and Freddie.
Correct.
Right. So, I mean, that's what I mean. Right. So we're getting into a government housing programs.
Yeah, we're backing ourselves in that way. It's just like I say, we're just so fat as an industry, and we like to stay fat. We like to eat well. We like to do a lot of business, and they don't like the fact that 74% of people that are homeowners aren't moving. They're not budging. They're just
Right.
staying status quo. I mean, obviously, the line of credit has been a thing that I've adopted. As like I get it, but I do challenge people out there that are listening. What is your blended rate? Let's not talk mortgage rate. What is your blended rate? A blended rate is looking at every item that you have, from your car, your student loans, your credit cards, and taking a full assessment of what your total blended rate is and seeing if that's, if it makes the most sense. I get it that you got the 3 or 4% interest rate on the house, but with the 20% credit cards and so on, I really question where is your blended rate at? You might still want to do the refinance and take that 6% right now. It probably makes more sense.
But just to kind of think about that wasn't the conversation 3 or 4 years ago, right?
Correct.
We wouldn't be doing that, right? So that's turning into the sales conversation today is, hey, now we have to look at this because you accumulated your credit card debt, your car payments here. This is more expensive. That's more expensive because there's still these low mortgage rates in the marketplace, right? The bank's got to make their money somewhere. They're not making it on housing, so they're going to make it everywhere else.
Correct.
So
it's every year. I mean, just like you say, every year that we have this conversation, it always changes based on the marketplace and where we are right now. You have too many people stuck, and then you're seeing I mean, right now unemployment is increasing, right? You're seeing all these downsize situations going on right now. So I don't know if people have fear about this, but where they are with their job, their situation. But it's definitely something worth, considering. Like, am I protecting myself? Have I taken the money out of these walls? And am I, have I put myself in the best possible position in case something were to happen?
Yeah, well, I mean, granted, never hope for a recession. We haven't had one in a very long time, right? You look at the charts. Every 20 years, we have a loan crisis, right? 80s, 2020, okay? I mean, we're pushing these numbers all along, right? At a certain point in time, you can't continue to have the growth, the appreciation and value, the money, somewhere along the line, there's a cliff coming. I'm not saying we're going to have a deep drop, but there's got to be a slowdown somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, the demand is just so high right now. I mean, and it's partly probably because of the pandemic. There was so much free money out there, and there's such still, it still permeates within the marketplace. And so many people are getting fat right now that, there's just, it keeps it going, but it's a balloon, and you have to press the reset button to somehow, some way, because you want to still make the marketplace feel like everyone can play.
Well, and then that's the thing, right? You can't get the first-time home buyers to play in today's market.
Correct.
Right? I mean, or the single-income household to play in today's market. It just doesn't work, right?
Correct. We're too top-heavy, and I think that's what we're seeing right now. There's I don't know what's the right answer. Maybe portable mortgage makes the most sense. That to me that's a great idea. Let's give it a try. But we're too top-heavy. And we need the bottom, I'm thinking about all the college graduates. I was going to do some, like, how many college graduates, all those people, all those Gen Zers, they want to be a part of we got to make it plausible and favorable for them.
Right. Which goes to a little bit of the portable mortgage, why I said it needs to be a cap, right? Because mom and dad shouldn't be able to portable that mortgage to their son or daughter to keep that rate, right? Like, it has to be to entice the activity to move these sub 4% interest rates off the table.
Yeah. All right, let's do some housekeeping notes.
You got it. It's all you.
All right. This episode today is sponsored by Epic Mortgage. Whether you're buying, investing, or refinancing, call Epic today, 708-905-5300, 708-905-5300. It's your dreams, your goals. Let's plan together. Now, after the show, once the show is over, if you're on Facebook or if you're on LinkedIn, please go to our YouTube channel, Epic Spotlight. Make sure you give it a like. And then also, too, make sure you check out the most recent interview with Timbaland Bowens. Are you afraid of the IRS or worried about making tax mistakes? Discover the inside scoop from IRS enrolled agent and tax expert Timbaland Bowens. In this is exclusive interview, Timbaland Bowens unveils the secrets to staying out of trouble with the IRS, maximizing your tax savings, and avoiding the most common and costly mistakes, especially after COVID and the recent tax law changes. Learn how business owners and everyday people can protect themselves, file correctly, and stop fearing tax season. I thought it was important to get a enrolled
tax plug
agent
towards the end of the year into this one.
Yeah, perfect time. And so Timbaland Bowens had a great conversation with her. We're gonna hopefully spoke to her recently, so we're gonna get her on the show and have a conversation with her probably early next year. But yeah, definitely check out the most recent interview with Timbaland Bowens. And then we have preferred listings. You can see all the preferred listings on www.danteroyster.com. Go to danteroyster.com, but I'll just read a couple to you. We got 5533 South Menard in Chicago, Illinois. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, going for $369,980. Contact Sebastian Kupiec, 773-430-8988. We have 4634 Deepwood Court in Bowie, Maryland. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, going for $367,500. Contact Phil Dyson, 443-280-1842. We have 2602 Hummingbird Lane, Humboldt, Texas. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, going for $284,444. Contact Carolyn Jones, a.k.a. CJ, at 281-356-0203. We have 541 East 60th Street, Unit 1A. That's Hyde Park. It's a condo, 2-bed, 1-bath, going for $115,000. Contact Evelyn Wood, 773-718-9742. And then we have 6200 South Marsh Lane in Matson, Illinois. It's a 4-bed, 2.5-bath, going for $270,000. Contact L'Oreal Flowers, 312-774-4230. Once again, all those are available on our website, danteroyster.com. All right. And then right before we answer some of these questions, I see a lot of people have chimed in. Appreciate you guys. If you have questions, make sure you go and chime in into the comments. We'll try to get to all of you. What was your take on this Vantage Score 4.0 that's looming?
Well, I know we're going to touch a little bit tomorrow on this with the guests, so I don't want to get ahead of tomorrow's show. Today's show's not over. Obviously, you and Jess on Wednesday talked about the cost of credit, which for us is a business expense. The Vantage Score may change a little bit of that. The end of the day, the adoption of a new profile, a new system, a new scoring mechanism, those pieces, I'm not really big on that change because for us, it's still the same type of score. It's a marginal difference between that situation and how it's looked at. Mm-hmm. I get the whole standpoint of what your profile is or what the projection of what your spending patterns are and how technology is going to be labeled more into the Vantage Score type of system than the other. All those things are good for the industry, right? At the end of the day, it gives you another scoring model to compare or to use. But the stats are FICO, Experian, TransUnion. That's the model that's never really going to change. These changes will take time in order to really have true adaptation into the marketplace.
Yes.
So not much there, right? Because if you're going to tell me, hey, Vince, pull my credit, I'm going to do the loan, I'm just going to pull the old-fashioned score and be done with it, spend the one time and be done. You, unfortunately, as you mentioned on Wednesday, okay, pushing almost 400 applications for the year.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Congrats, because that's a big number, first of all, okay? Have to worry about that from a business standpoint.
100%.
Right? And, I've said this before on the show. I don't pull credit, right? I have a conversation, and when you say you're good, then I pull credit, right? Everyone has their own different way of doing it, right? Because
Correct.
I look at it like this. If you don't know your credit profile, you need to learn it, because if you don't know it, I can't know how to help you. And me just pulling credit doesn't give you a solution, right? I mean, because we can do loans with credit scores under 580, right? And that's anyone. That's not just here at Epic,
No.
right? Right? It's FHA rule, okay?
Right.
If you got an under 580, you know what? You need 10%.
Conventional rule now.
Well, that's a whole other different show, okay? Because the MI companies aren't going to support an LTV over 80% with the credit score under 620, right? So
right.
And that's all gone. I wanted to call in on Wednesday and jump in on that conversation, but we were getting pretty close. But not to get off topic, right? Like,
yep.
You got to know what your situation is, right? If you're going to become a homeowner, and if you're like, oh, I had some damages, some things happen, you gotta tell me that, right? I don't need to pull the credit to learn it. You got to tell me. You know, right?
Yeah.
So again, not that big on all of that. It's fun. It's good coffee talk or Epic Lunch and Learn talk, right? But
sure.
The models are still the same. So
yeah, I mean, as of today, the only thing that has changed is the conventional, has removed the 620, right? So that is in effect. It might help the condo market. So if you're a 580 with 20% down and you want to buy a condo, then you don't have to worry about trying to find an FHA approved condo. So,
True.
I mean, I think the marketplace will open up for condos, and you'll see those move, because condos and townhomes to some degree are the affordable lending.
True.
Right,
and then remember, you're going to get into the reserve requirements of the condo and everything else that go with it. So, but yes, to the point of condos and townhouses are the affordable homes.
Exactly. All right, let's try to get these questions banged out. Love this perspective. How do you suggest balancing aesthetics with real value?
Well, people have bad choices on paint colors in their house, right? So you visually have to just kind of think of it as a white canvas when you walk into it, right? And you have to put that away. And at the end of the day, the bones of the house aren't going to change, right? So, like, are the bedroom sizes equal, right? I mean, sometimes you get into I got 2 good-sized bedrooms, but that third bedroom is just kind of slammed in there, and it's really not usable space. Or, you mentioned it, closet space or storage, right? Those are the bones of the house, right? Like, okay, well, we got a huge bedroom here. Could we put an ensuite bathroom within the bedroom to give us 2 bathrooms as opposed to a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house? But then you have to look at, where's that plumbing? How can I feed all this stuff in? And those are the things that people don't look at when they're buying the house the way we would as professionals in the industry, including the realtor,
right?
Just from the standpoint of, I could maybe add another bath as long as I put it on this wall, right? But you may not be able to visually see that when you're just looking at, they put new floors in. Yeah, they put new laminate flooring in, right? At the end of the day, that's inexpensive flooring. It looks nice. It's the good do-it-yourself. It's
Correct.
Easier to do. It's cheaper to maintain. But it shouldn't be anywhere near water.
No.
Right?
No,
and people have it in their kitchens and have it in their bathrooms today, right? Because it looks better.
Correct. And then you get the mold right underneath it, and you're like, whoa, I didn't know that mold was going to grow there. Yeah, you should not have any liquid. Appreciate you, Randall. I feel like you're a first-time listener, so appreciate you chiming in. And to your point, and that's why we had Monique Hendricks on. So if you didn't have a chance, definitely check out our episode 2 episodes ago. So it's probably episode 54, where homes that are staged sell 3 times. Are 3 times more likely to be sold than a home that's not staged. So they do that because the visual nature of people now. I'm definitely more of a visual learner. I have to physically see it. I can't just envision. So if you want to paint your bedroom for your kids as My Little Pony, and I'm going to have a hard time seeing anything other than a bunch of ponies and unicorns on your walls.
And if you are selling your house and you do have My Little Pony on the wall, take them all down, paint the wall, make it look right, paint it a neutral color. I get it. The child might not be happy about it because you're destroying their bedroom, but again, you're trying to sell a house. It's a business decision.
100%. Gerard, how do you know when a home is worth the price versus just looking nice?
Location.
Yeah.
One of the other things we just talked about, right? I brought up a house in Arlington Heights, and your exact words were Hershey High School, right?
That's right.
Like, I mean, because those are one of the top high schools in the area that we live in, right? I mean,
Correct.
and it's a demand for it. So,
Yeah.
like, those things matter, right? Because
Yeah.
you can always change the color, you can always change the kitchen, you can always remodel. You can't move the location.
Exactly. And I think that's why you probably asked that question right from your story. How do you avoid getting trapped by Instagram worthy homes? Don't go on Instagram. There you go.
Don't go on Instagram. Go look at the house, right?
Yeah.
It's why you have open houses, right? I mean, it is what it is. Convenience is great. Technology makes it easier for us to all work together.
Yep.
But still, go take the half hour if you're going to go spend $400,000 on a home to go look at the house.
100%. I mean, how many times has a buyer come to probably you and me and said, "Oh, it wasn't like the pictures." Some of these listing agents do a phenomenal job with the pictures that they take, make you think, "Oh man, this is immaculate, this is amazing," and then it's too small.
Yeah.
You have to look at the dimension sizes for sure. Appreciate you. Vincent, what's the biggest mistake? He's talking to you. Vince, what's the biggest mistake you see buyers making today?
I think a lot of it is more kicking tires than seriously ready to buy. And I say that just because you get in all these multiple offer situations and the emotions come into it. When you're going to buy a house today, and maybe I'm kind of dancing around this a little bit, make your strongest offer up front. Realtors are going to take that offer and they're going to leverage it to the next person that puts an offer. It's just unfortunate ways of doing it. Put a timetable on it, right? Like, I'm going to give you an offer and you need to get back to me or I'm taking it off the table, right? And you can't get wrapped up in the emotional portion of buying a home, right? You're going to get, we put an offer in on this house. They came back with another number and we took it, right? But, I wanted to go into the offer at a higher price to begin with, but in this fortunate situation, it worked out, right? There wasn't a multiple offer situation. But again, there's not enough inventory. If it's the house you like, you're going to pay for it. So can't really get that there's not really a mistake. The mistake that I see is that you're not aggressive enough or you're not looking enough.
Treat it like it's a second job, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's the only way to really find your house today.
Right, exactly. How can first-time buyers judge a home's real value?
I'll let you spin that one.
Jeff, I would say the real value and and this is what we kind of started talking about in the beginning is, to me, is we have to look at all the elements. Is it closer to the job? Is it closer to family? I'm not necessarily a guy, I've looked at appraisals, obviously, but I'm not really huge. I mean, I'm simplistic when it comes to a home. Give me a kitchen, give me a bed, a bathroom, and call it a day. So I'm not really, I'm not the guy for crown molding and look at this drop ceiling, kitchen islands. Like, they look nice, and when I visit, people that have those types of things, like, wow, that was very convenient. But that's not the be all end all for me. For me, it's about convenience, it's about affordability, my payment per month. And just, what's the game plan overall? I'm always, even now I'm thinking about, how much can I rent my house for? I'm starting to do that research and starting to evaluate things. So, I think I'm more practical and I'm about the numbers. I'm about the math, because I think everything really is, I think life is, and I'm starting to come up with this idea in my head. I think life is all just a mathematical equation and you just have to really solve it. And you really have to tie yourself away from being so emotional about everything. And I think you just have to stick to the numbers and let the numbers work out where they are.
Dante's going to be moving soon. His wife is going to replay this over and over and over and over again.
What should sellers focus on to attract serious buyers, not just lookers? Well, we're not agents. I probably steer clear of this one. That's more, I'd let a realtor, one of L'Oreal or Charday or whoever has been on our, I let them answer that. But
Yeah,
I,
I mean,
yeah, kitchens and bathrooms, right? I mean, a short answer, most people when they go into your house, they're looking for kitchen and bathrooms. So if you want to make your kitchen look nice, bathrooms look good, that's where you spend the majority of your time, and I guess
so
bedrooms too.
like I wanted to dabble into the house that we just got approved on the contract. Dabble, when I mean dabble, I wanted to play around with the numbers and say, hey, okay, we agreed on a price. Well, let's push the price up higher. Give me some concessions. And everyone was like, whoa, why would we want to do that, right? And I'm like, because I could structure the deal better financially for everybody. But no one was really happy about it. So I backed off.
Yeah. How do you spot a home that's overpriced for its actual value?
That's hard in today's market. When I looked at some of the comparables on this house that we looked at, one house went 40 grand over the list and is the same exact square footage, right? So actual value is irrelevant, unfortunately, in today's marketplace, right? Because you still have that happening, and no house should be 40 grand over the list price in the grand scheme of things, because then you listed the price low in order to get the bidding war. Strategically, it works from a sales standpoint, but for an actual value, it inflates numbers, right? And again, you can put whatever you want on a purchase contract. It still has to appraise from the bank.
I had a buddy who was like big into square footage. He was breaking down like, it should be $4 a square foot, and so this is overpriced, and I just never learned that and as a mindset. But obviously whoever taught him, that was kind of what he's like, yeah, sure, Dante, don't you know this? It's like certain dollars per square foot is what it should be, and I'm never going to go past there.
But again, that's math, right? Right? That's don't matter what's in the house. It's the math, right? And that's
Correct.
what it is, right? You want the granite, or you want to change the tile, and you want to do that, right? Those are all extras because what's in there still functions.
Correct. How much does mindset really affect success in buying a home? Thanks, John. I think you're a first timer too as well.
I would say it's just as important as in terms of pricing, right? I mean, you have to be you have to be willing to put the time in, and it has to become the job to find the house and you have to be in the right mindset in order to do it. In today's market, people get frustrated easier because you have to put more effort into finding the home.
Yeah. I mindset to me right now, if that was a theme of moving forward, is everything. Just you have to have the right mindset in going to work every day, objectives, goals, planning. Having the right mindset is everything. But you really do have to treat buying a home right now in this marketplace where there's low inventory as a job. Because when that opportunity pops up in Arlington Heights, you got to go run and get it.
Right.
You can't just sit there and be like, oh, I'll go there on the weekend. It's gone.
I think she looked at roughly 30 homes. Right. Oh, since she's been looking, right? But
sure. Vince, what's the best way to evaluate a home beyond the photos?
The bones. And I know I said that earlier, right? Closet spacing, bathroom locations, shared walls. Can it potentially add it? Can I remodel without having to structurally change anything, right?
It reminds me, my mom's house, old school, was built in the 50s, where the lights for the bathroom, when you walk in, you turn them on, but they're right next to the shower. Just stuff like that, where it's like nowadays, I mean, that's such a risk. And right. You never thought about it as a kid, but now I'm like, oh my God, like what if the water's just, man, you got to make sure the curtain's there when you're taking a shower. It's just little stuff like that. Like you have to pay attention to those things because deep down they don't make a lot of sense. Or the bathroom right by the pantry, or the bathroom right by the kitchen. Like, what are we doing?
Right. Like, I mean, as a kid, I grew up in River Grove. In about 1,000 square foot home. The 3 bedrooms were all next to each other, basically, and there was one bath. And where the water piping was you couldn't put another bath in one of the bedrooms because it was behind the linen closet that's in the hallway. Right. So, I mean, granted, if you wanted to do it, you could run the lines underneath the house and underneath, in the basement and then run them up. But, it's like, oh, can't position it the right way in the bedroom because we had the small third bedroom.
Correct.
Right? It's just one of those things.
Yeah. So things to always look out for. And then how should someone prioritize upgrades versus essentials in a new home?
Well, are we talking new construction as the point of a new home?
Ariel, if you want to put a comment there, that'd be great. In a new home, I would assume not just a new existing home.
Not a new build, just new to them.
Right.
Right. But again, I mean, the upgrades to me are like, I don't want to pay for your upgrades to what you think is nice in your home because it might not be my taste.
Correct.
Right. So, I mean, we put new carpeting. I don't care. I don't want carpeting. Right. I'm gonna rip this out anyways. Right. Like that means nothing to me. Right. Which, again, goes back to the price of square footage and what it really is in true cost. Today's market is what's inside the house doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I actually am a big fan of renovation loans. I'm a big fan of 203Ks, home style, and that's actually how I bought my house. I bought my house as a 203K and then refinanced it into a conventional. But, when I bought it, I want to do renovation because I want to see behind the walls. I've lost so much faith and trust in some people, and just I've seen so much like where, this beautiful house, but it gets so cold or drafty in here. Why? Because they didn't put enough they didn't
insulate the wall.
Insulate. Correctly. Thank you. Insulation. And it's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of doing the upgrades yourself, to Vince's point, to, looking at a renovation loan, if, to purchase some of these homes, especially, it's just crazy because most of these homes were built in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and you don't, for us, it's like, oh yeah. But then now in reality, that's 50 years ago.
Correct. Right. Like, think about
that.
And then to get to the bones too, right? Let's be real honest. You're buying a house today and it's not a new home. Make sure the roof is good. Make sure your heater's good. Make sure your AC is good. Everything else is irrelevant, right? The mechanicals, you need to make sure are right because that's where your money's going to be spent. If something goes wrong, and cosmetically, that makes no difference. You're not going to like that's a true housing expense, right? I got to put a new furnace in. It's going to cost me $7,000 or $8,000 or whatever it is in today's market price, and I get nothing visually from it.
Correct. Yeah, a new furnace, a roof's got to be 15 to 20.
I'd say 15 easy.
Yep. So those are the big ticket items that you're going to have to, so if you can find a house that has good bones in that manner, everything else is replaceable, not a problem. And then right here, last question. That's crazy. What advice would you give to someone who wants luxury but can't afford it yet?
We've already kind of answered it. They can't afford it yet, right? Like you have to trim down your expectations, right? Go buy the ugliest house on the block in the luxury area, and you'll eventually change it, right? It'll take time.
James, I really appreciate this question because it's interesting to me because I actually was surfing on YouTube over the weekend, and I was listening to I don't know if it was Charlie Munger AI, basically, and he was talking about like he was just talking about relocating. It is tough situation right now. And I get it because like, even for me, my dad's here, my mom's here, my kids are in school. Yeah, maybe I'm going to be here for a little bit. I'm not disappearing. But, when that time comes and everyone kind of disappears around me, I'm not really tied to this location. And if I'm not tied to it, I have to be willing to, detach myself from what is here and make sure I'm making the best conscious decision for me on affordability. I looked at this lady, it was last week, and she basically qualified herself she was about 225. She was eligible for about 225 with about let's say 6,000 in taxes. And basically there was nothing in the west suburbs for her. Nothing. She couldn't find a thing. Independent woman, kind of mindset. So no thoughts of a co-signer. Absolutely not. I'm not going to ask anybody. And it's kind of one of those situations. So what are you going to do then? Are you going to continue to rent? If you really do want to buy, then where are we moving to? What are you willing to do? You're going to have to relocate yourself. You're going to have to transition from where you live currently and make a whole change. You might have to go to the south suburbs. You might have to go into I can't live there. Okay, well then what are we going to do?
Yeah. I mean, taxes are a big thing here for us in Illinois. I mean, and for other states that we operate and do business in, but
yeah,
taxes are expensive here, right? I mean,
yeah.
The house that we're talking about today for me is $8,000 a year in taxes, right? I mean, hey,
relatively inexpensive for that
area, right?
Yeah.
But that's $700.
Yes.
Right. I mean, a mortgage payment is roughly $3,300, right? I mean, think about it. That's 25% of your mortgage payments. Your principal and interest payment is additional in taxes, right? It creates a huge affordability problem. So, and that's why, you see the price appreciation that you saw happen in areas like Tennessee over the years, right? Because the population said, well, forget it. I'm going somewhere where it's cheaper.
Correct. And I like that. I think I'm more open to that. I didn't understand that mindset, but I get it now. If you're not emotionally attached to anything, you have to be willing to relocate for, a cheaper location. You might have to move to Oklahoma. You might have to go to, what it would be northwest Texas.
Right. I know you joked about this when you first got out of college. You thought you were going to Oakland, right?
Correct.
Right. Okay. Well, now people that are living in California are going to Utah and Nevada and Arizona because it is so expensive, right? I mean,
correct.
I saw something else. This is completely off topic, but the Palisade fires, they haven't rebuilt that whole entire area. It's a year later, right? And there's been no construction, no movement, no nothing, right? So with that being said, I'm here with you tomorrow. I know I hit you up for how many guests we had in the first 5 minutes. So now that we're an hour later, how many guests do we actually have on here today?
275 guests on a Monday.
I think we're losing people because we're talking about the Bears too much.
No, we're okay. Actually, we got one person just chopped in. The guy looked like a mugshot. Get out.
Yeah, it does look like a mugshot today. Don't get me wrong, right? I'm joking around with Dante because there's two screens now, and I'm seeing myself twice, and I'm leaning towards my left. So I totally look like a mugshot today.
I think and so I like that. At least it's real, and they're writing in, chiming in. I think you can hide the vertical, and then it goes to 1. That's what I ended up doing because it did come up as 2, and then I just hit the vertical. But tomorrow is going to be interesting. Tomorrow we're going to get into more of the VantageScore 4.0. We'll be back tomorrow, 12 p.m. Central Time to 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're going to talk about VantageScore. We're going to have Jay Shaw with us, and so that's going to be a great conversation. We're going to talk about LexisNexis and some of the products that we use and that our lenders and underwriters, most importantly, use all the time. And we'll take it from there. So hours up. Appreciate you, Vince, and I'll see you tomorrow.
To the guy that made the joke of the mugshot, tomorrow I'm going to do the show with no camera on, just the voice. Okay, bud? All right, man. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, take care.
Bye.